The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Shawn Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Robbie Ross with the Ross Report for 912 Sports. Big news last week announced by the GHSA. There has been a change in the venue for the upcoming state baseball championships in May. Clement Stadium in Statesboro, home of the Georgia Southern Eagles, has been added to this year's list of sites. The GHSA made the change from Grayson Stadium in Savannah, which is aging and kind of an older ballpark. And they have held state championships at Grayson Stadium regardless of the age since 2017. Clement Stadium is one of four around the state that will hold championship series. The other three sites are all home to a Braves organization, the Rome Braves home stadium, State Mutual Stadium up in northwest Georgia. Also Coolray Field in Lawrenceville, home to the Gwinnett Stripers, and Truist Park in Marietta, home to the world champion Atlanta Braves, will also host a state championship series. The GHSA assigns those series among the 8 classifications based on proximity of the 2 teams in each classification, so we won't know until the state finals are set who will play where. And the state finals are scheduled to begin on Thursday, May 19th, and run through Wednesday, May 25th at all 4 sites. So adding Clement Stadium, taking away Grayson Stadium in Savannah, adding the Georgia Southern home field in Statesboro instead of Grayson Stadium in Savannah, to which will be the closest proximity to any of the area schools in the 912 if they are fortunate enough to make it to the state championships. I'm Robbie Ross. This has been the Ross Report on 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today, buddy?
John, pretty good. Good to be here talking high school sports again. Busy time of the year in the spring. We've been saying that for 2 or 3 weeks, but at least we're kind of winding down toward playoff time in a lot of the sports. So even though it's coming to an end, it's going to be an exciting end as always.
Yeah, it's hard to believe we only got 2 weeks of regular season baseball left. We'll get into that a little bit later, but everybody kind of getting into crunch mode as far as baseball playoffs goes, fighting for those seeding positions and getting ready to get into the state tournaments there. But Kevin, one thing that went down this past week. One of our buddies from around here, a well-known coach at several different schools, Alex Mathis, has taken a job with the University of Central Florida. He is now going to be the assistant director of player personnel. Couldn't be more happier for Alex, and kind of a big move for Alex, going from the high school ranks into the college ranks, but kind of right in Alex's wheelhouse. He's been at Frederica, he's been at Glenn, he's been at Brantley. He's a graduate of Ware County, so one of 912's very own, going to move over to the 407 down there in Orlando and join Gus Malzahn's staff.
Yeah, Alex is a good guy, and I guess he's put in his time in various ways related to this job that he's going to have there at Central Florida. And I first met Alex, several years ago when he was actually a student at the College of Coastal Georgia. Met him on the intramural football field. So kind of interesting that he's been at football, a more serious type of football in his jobs. But, he's coached at Frederica, and he spent, I guess, just 1 year at Brantley, and then, has been at Glenn this past year. And he was basically their recruiting coordinator, helped Coach Rock, send out videos and make phone calls to coaches and various things of that nature. That's all a part of that recruiting game. Contacting the network of coaches they know and trying to get their kids seen and recruited. And, not everybody can fly around the country on a helicopter and land on the football field and do all those types of things. A lot of these smaller schools, they will reach out to you, but you have to reach out to them. And they might recruit 3 or 4 year guys at one time once you get in their network. But that's a whole separate story. But Alex has been heavily involved in that. In the last year, has planned a lot of things for the Glenn kids. And he's kind of always been in this recruiting game pretty much as long as I've known him. As you know, he must have developed some sort of relationship with Gus Malzahn when he was at Auburn. The 2 kids from Frederica, Jalen Simpson and Jay-Sean Sheffield, went to Auburn out of Frederica when he was there. And he was basically a mentor to those guys, if you will. And, continue to go over to Auburn and support them and watch them play. And, obviously, he's got a tie-in there with Malzahn, who is now at Central Florida. So all kind of interesting how this come together, and not as 100% sure what he's going to do, but it does involve a lot of things with recruiting and what Central Florida will be doing with recruiting. So he'll be heavily involved in things he knows about and has a passion for as well.
Yeah, and I looked up what a director of player personnel does, and some of it said basically that you're a liaison between the students in the different departments. You deal with travel, you deal with legal matters, you deal with compliance, all that stuff. But then one of the things I saw that what an assistant director of player personnel does is he's responsible for creating and evaluating recruits that are coming into your program. And that's really right in Alex's wheelhouse there. I mean, that's exactly what he did with Jalen Simpson and Jay-Sean Sheffield there at Frederica when they went to Auburn. He's helped a bunch of kids. He's always taking kids on recruiting trips. So that's really right in his wheelhouse. So it'll be interesting to see what his duties are when he gets down there to Central Florida. But I have no doubt he's going to be really successful at, down there.
Hey, Sean, and one thing he might do, he might be able to hook us up with Thomas Castellano. Sometimes when I've called Warren McClendon or Jackpot Lesney and guys like that play at Georgia, when we've tried to get them on our show, I would always think they would have to go to one of the sports information directors. But it seems like at times they've mentioned, let me ask so-and-so, so-and-so, and he's got a title kind of like this.
Right.
So, maybe, hopefully Thomas will never big time us, so we can just call him up on the cell phone and say, hey, would you like to come on? But, I understand that he has rules and directions he has to follow. And if he has any questions, maybe he's going to ask Alex, and it'll be just like, sure, go ahead. Why'd you even ask?
Exactly. So, hopefully, hey, maybe there's some tickets in that deal too. So.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
That'll be nice.
Help us get the form to fill out the credentials a little easier.
Exactly. Well, not only that, but it'll be good that, Alex will have, connection with Thomas, and they'll be down there together. So it's kind of like, both from the same, 912 family. So that'll be good that they'll have, each other, at that one location. So, but best of luck to Alex. We wish him, nothing but the best. And again, I have no doubt he's going to be ultra successful down there, and it'll be interesting to follow on not only what Thomas does his freshman year, but what Alex does down there, his freshman year as well. But Kevin, we've got a big event coming up Thursday, the 28th, April the 28th at 7 p.m. We're going to have our I think it's our 4th annual All Sports Award Show. Really looking forward to it. Last year we did it online. This year we're going to do it online again. We're going to give out, I believe it's 38 awards, Kevin, and everything under the sun except for football, because football has their own banquet, so we don't involve football in it. But baseball, soccer, track, volleyball, anything that happens at a high school as far as sporting events go will be included in this All Sports Awards banquet. And I'm really looking forward to getting this show kicked off on the 28th.
Yeah, Shawn, and if you think about it, one of the reasons we started a Facebook Live show back in the very beginning when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, March in 2020, that's one of the first things we kind of thought about was like, even though the spring sports are getting suspended, we've still got to have our show or a way to honor all the kids from all sports other than football. And of course, like I said, some of those spring sports season got cut short, and we had a short resume to work with, I guess. But this was how this show actually kind of got started, because we needed a format to have that all sports show. And we did it, like you said, in terms of online instead of a banquet. And so here we are, we've evolved a couple of different times, changed the show name and everything. But, we're kind of getting back to square one by hosting this show again. But yeah, a lot of kids to honor. The football show this past season was great. We could see once again all the great football that we play in this area. And I think that if people tune in to this show, they may have kind of forgotten a little bit about who starred in what and who did what in some of the fall sports. But certainly we're going to honor basketball and all the spring sports as well, wrestling, which is a winter sport too. But I think we'll see a lot of good things in this show, a lot of deserving kids winning awards, and again, tough decisions in a lot of areas. But I think people will be proud to know that the 912 is strong across the board, as a lot of good student athletes are going to win awards from 912 here coming up in a few weeks.
Right. And it's like I said, in every sport under the sun, riflery, girls swimming, boys swimming, volleyball. This year we got a new one, Kevin, in girls flag football, because that was a new sport that GHSA introduced this season. We had some really good teams, had a couple of teams make some deep runs into the state playoffs there. So really looking forward to, honoring these kids, giving these kids a platform to be recognized. Because listen, hey, they're getting up every day. They're going to school. They're going to practice. They're putting in the effort. So it feels good to honor these kids and to recognize them for their hard work and their production on the fields.
Yeah, no question. I was very impressed with some of our superlative award winners in football when we read their bios, not only what they do on the football field, but some of the other things they're involved in. And I'm involved in an organization here in Glenn County Sports Hall of Fame. We honor senior student athletes every year, graduating seniors who are, role models to their peers. And they may not always be the best player on their team in a particular sport, but they're one of the better ones usually. And when you look at some of the things they do away from the field, obviously academics, but other extracurricular activities and clubs they're involved in, it's quite impressive. I don't know how they have the time to actually shine in the sport that they shine in with all the other things they're doing too. And a lot of these kids that we're going to honor here on 912 are going to be the same way. These kids are good in academics, they're good in athletics, but they're they might be the president of the student council or something of that nature. They're just heavily involved in their schools and their communities, and you see why they are so successful when they come to bat or when they step back to serve a volleyball or a tennis ball.
Exactly. Well, go ahead and mark your calendars now. That's Thursday, April the 28th, 7 p.m. right here in this time slot. We'll be doing the 4th annual All Sports Awards banquet here for 912 Sports. Hey, let's take a break and pay some bills here and let some sponsors talk to you for a second, and we'll come right back here with more On Air with 912 Sports.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome back, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. Kevin, we're right in the heat of the battle of baseball. You guys have got a lot going on over there with Golden Isles baseball. Brunswick, kind of struggling right now. Glenn's playing really great baseball. A lot of teams in that region are playing really great baseball. We've said it several times, Kevin. You've got only 4 spots, and you got, probably 5 teams that are going to be deserving. And, somebody's probably going to the house, or somebody is going to the house that would have a chance to, make some noise in the state playoffs. But kind of bring us up to speed on what's going on over there with Golden Isles baseball.
Yeah, so in Golden Isles baseball this week, basically both Glenn and Brunswick have region series. Brunswick taking on Bradwell Institute. And, Brunswick is the road team in that series, if you will, playing 2 out of 3 against the Tigers over in Hinesville. And then, of course, Glen Academy involved in a big series with Effingham this week. Game 1 was at Effingham. Game 2 will be at Glen. And then Game 3 is at Effingham again Friday night. Golden Isles baseball will be there for that one. And it's going to be a bigger game, Shawn, overall than I really anticipated when the season started, and that's largely because of what Effingham is doing. I mean, they've been, I guess, maybe the surprise, if you will, in the region so far. I mean, coming into this week, they were undefeated in the region and ended up actually they lost their first game last week to Statesboro, and then actually had the one loss coming into this series against Glen this week. But you're right, Shawn. This is going to be a dogfight to the finish. I was looking again at the region standings before we came on, and we've kind of said all year that it would probably be 5 or 6 teams for 4 spots. As it turns out, it's going to actually be only 5 teams for 4 spots. I think about the only sure thing that we know right now is that Bradwell's not going to make the playoffs, and it doesn't look like Brunswick will. But the other 5 teams are right there in the thick of things. I'm talking about Effingham, Statesboro, South Effingham, Glen Academy, and Richmond Hill. And Richmond Hill lost to Bradwell last week. It's kind of sent shockwaves around the region. And who knows, that loss could stick out like a sore thumb when all was said and done, because they could finish 1 game behind somebody and maybe be 3rd instead of 2nd, or 4th instead of 3rd, something like that. But Effingham, South Effingham, Glen, Richmond Hill, Statesboro, all right there in the thick of things, could finish 1, 2, 3, 4 in any order. And basically it could come down to who beat who with those tiebreakers. So when you play these 3-game series, all games are weighted the same. 1 game doesn't count any more than the other. So that's why if you possibly get beat in games 1 and 2, you've got to go out there and play for pride and play for possibly your season, because when it all shakes out, that 1/3 game of that series, even though you lost that series, could be what makes or breaks you, or it could be, again, decides if you finish 2nd instead of 3rd, or 3rd instead of 4th. And obviously you want to be at home if you can in one of those top 2 spots. But sometimes if you're a 3 seed, you got to even match up with a 2 seed and out of another region. So you just really don't know. So every game, you got to take it serious. Every game counts the same. But at the end of the day, you want to win 2 out of 3, because if you're matched up in a tie with somebody else, let's just say, for instance, South Effingham and Glenn end up tied with the same 1-loss record in the region, Glenn's going to get the upper hand because they took 2 out of 3 against South Effingham earlier this season. So once again, going to be a fight to the finish in Region 2 6A. We knew we had some good baseball teams in this region, and we'll just see how they all shake out when all is said and done. Just a couple of more weeks in region play after this one, and then we'll go into the state playoffs where Glenn and South Effingham both made a run to the Elite Eight last year. But going to be an interesting finish, and some tiebreakers are going to be involved, Shawn. I sure do feel like.
Yeah, that last week, Kevin, we kind of left. We mentioned before, we kind of left ourselves almost like a flex schedule in the NFL to try to figure out what games we need to be covering that week there on Golden Isles baseball. And it looks like that last series for Glenn could be all important. It may even be, a region title on the line. Definitely some seeding is going to be on the line there. So we'll keep up with that. And, Kevin, some of that same stuff's going on over here in Region 2 5A where Gator Baseball is, and that's who I follow, like I said. But Ware coming off a big three-game series with Warner Robins this past week, basically taking 2 out of 3 from Warner Robins. On Tuesday, they went to Warner Robins, and Warner Robins kind of smacked them in the mouth, beat them 7-2. I'm not real sure if Ware maybe got off the bus thinking they had already had the series won or exactly what happened, but listen, Warner Robins showed up. They had 2 really good pitchers. They smacked the ball around. I think they hit the ball 11 times against the Gators there in Game 1 and took that game up in Warner Robins by a final score of 7-2. Then they came back to Ware County this past Friday night for the big doubleheader. Ware was able to sneak away with a win in Game 1 in a very tight, hard-fought game. The Gators were able to win that game 5-3. And then they went into the nightcap, which was the second game of the doubleheader, and was able to run rule Warner Robins because Warner Robins just basically ran out of pitching. The Gators were able to beat them in 10-0 in 5 innings there. But kind of the same thing went on in the other series that was being played, and that was Coffee and Veterans. Coffee went to Veterans on Tuesday and wound up losing that game by a final score of 6-5, and then came back and swept the doubleheader on Friday at their place, winning those 2. So Coffee goes wins 2 out of 3, and Ware wins 2 out of 3. So Ware and Coffee sitting there neck and neck. Coffee has already played Wayne. Ware will play Wayne this upcoming week. So that's a big series there. Ware right now is off this week as far as region play. They do have 2 games, or did have 2 games against Charlton, but those were non-region contests. So like I said, this was spring break for Ware County, and they actually didn't have any region games this week. So that was kind of a good matchup for Ware there to be on spring break when they didn't play any region games. But this region is going to come down to those 3 teams. It's going to be Coffee, Ware, and Wayne in some shape, form, or fashion as a 1, 2, 3 seed. And Kevin, it's like you said, that's all important for these guys to be able to get that 1 or 2 seed, because if they get that 1 or 2 seed, then basically what they do is they know they're going to get that home game, at least in the first round. If you're a 1 seed and you're able to win that first round, then you're going to get two home series there. But it'll all come down to that those last 2 weeks for Ware. Got to play Wayne, and then the last week got to finish up with Coffee. So going to be a lot of great baseball played right here toward the end.
Yeah, and when does Wayne and Ware play? Did you say that? Did I miss that?
Next week. Their series starts next week. And the doubleheaders, or what they do in this region is the Warner Robins and Veterans, the travel is so far. They play doubleheaders for those series. But when Coffee plays Wayne, when Ware plays Coffee, and Ware plays Wayne, those series are 3-game series. So what you do is you do a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, as opposed to a Tuesday and a doubleheader on Friday. So which makes sense because travel is, it's brutal. It's, 2.5 hours to those locations up there. So that's the way the region designed it, and it's worked out really well. This is the second year of, those series flowing that way, and it's worked out really well. So, but again, all important series with Wayne, all important series with Coffee. Just like Glenn did last year, where made that deep run all the way to the Final Four, got beat by the eventual state championship Stars Mills team, and actually took the first game against Stars Mills. Just weren't able to get 2 out of 3 from them. But like I said, it'll be interesting to follow along. But Kevin, we had a really big event happen this past weekend, and one of 912's very own was right in the center of it. And what that was the drive, chip, putt contest up at Augusta National. And we're going to give you all the details of what happened up there right after these messages. So stick around. Thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome back, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. Well, Kevin, we kind of teased it before we went to break there. Big event here this past weekend up in Augusta National. What it was the drive, chip, and putt contest there at the Masters, and one of the 912's own, Trace Carter, a freshman at Ware County High School, went up there and was basically done great. Kevin finished second in his age group, won the chipping portion of that contest. Rhett Carter is his father, a longtime race car driver around here in this area. But Trace has decided to take his talents to the golf course, and evidently, Kevin, he's a very, very talented young man. But you know a lot more about this situation, so I'm going to let you tell everybody about what went on this past weekend.
Yeah, so the drive, chip, and putt competition is kind of like that pitch, hit, and run competition in baseball that you see the little leaguers do. But this is a national competition. It's held in conjunction between the Masters, the USGA, the United States Golf Association, and the PGA of America. And every year for several years now, at this time of year, the weekend before the Masters starts, they have the national finals on the grounds at Augusta National, and Trace was part of this competition. And so he did what every good golfer or anybody that calls himself a golfer dreams and would love to do. He not only stepped on the grounds at Augusta National, he actually hit a golf ball at Augusta National, more than one. Now, he didn't play Amen Corner, that famous section of the back nine at the Augusta National Golf Club. This event actually not held on the golf course, held in the practice facility areas, but it is drive, chip, and putt. So as you can imagine, it's a contest that involves all the participants hitting a couple of drives, hitting a couple of chips, and actually hitting a couple of putts. And the thing about it, I mean, you get to warm up. Yes, you do. But, I mean, you get limited opportunities to actually execute these shots in the actual competition. So you really have to be on your game right then and there. It's not like you have a couple of holes to kind of ease into your round or something. I mean, you got to be Johnny on the spot, ready to go when they call your name in each of these three areas. And obviously Trace was, as Shawn said, the facts were that he finished second overall in the boys 14-15 age group, and also actually won the chipping contest in that event. Had a perfect 10 score, I do believe, in the chipping portion as well. And just a couple of the things that come with the victory. He got his picture taken with Dustin Johnson, who actually gave him the trophy for winning the chipping contest and finishing second. So he got his picture taken with the former Masters champion. But I'm sure he has all kind of stories and met all kind of wonderful people up there in the past few days, and got to see a lot of professional golfers who were up there playing in that tournament this week. But it's not easy to get there, Shawn. I mean, they started with 326 sites, local qualifying sites around the country in all 50 states. and you had to make it through a local qualifier and then a sub-regional qualifier and then also a regional qualifier. Now, I looked up where Trace went to get to the national finals. His local qualifier was down at Jacks Beach. His sub-regional qualifier was at TPC Sawgrass down in Ponte Vedra. And then he went to the Bears Club in Jupiter, Florida, which was his regional final. And as it turned out, Shawn, and just reading about this a little bit, this is his last year to compete in this competition. I think he's done it for 3 or 4 years now. And he had never made it out of the local qualifying. So it was kind of a running joke between him and his mom that if he ever made it out of local qualifying, who knows? The sky might be the limit. And as it turned out, that was exactly right. He went all the way to the national finals, got to compete at Augusta National, which is awesome. And then he not only competed, he did well, as we said, in his age group. So like I said, I'm sure this is a wonderful experience for him, something he's going to remember the rest of his life, getting to actually hit a golf ball on the grounds of Augusta National. And this has to fire all these kids up, Shawn. Not everybody's going to play at the professional level, but this has to give you something to shoot for when you go get to play at Augusta National like he did and be in that environment and see everything that is great about golf. And he's going to have a lot of wonderful memories from this, a lot of good stories to tell. And again, not everybody can make it that far, and he did, and he finished very high in his age group, and just a great deal, something he's going to remember for the rest of his life, no matter how far he really goes in golf.
Yeah, Kevin, we got a lot of really good golf being played around here. Lee Smith, who's on that team, did really good at the amateur. You've got the young kid at Frederica, and his name escapes me right now, Kevin.
Jack Roberts.
Jack Roberts is playing, excellent golf. And now you've got, Trace Carter that you can add to that list. So, I mean, really a lot of young talent that's, really shining on the greens and on the on the courses all over, really all over southeastern, the southeastern United States. But it'll be great, interesting to follow along to see where Trace goes from here. Like I said, he does play for Ware County. He's on that team. I know he's played, playing for Ware all year long. He's had some really good scores. So it'll be interesting to see how far Ware can go when it comes, state golf playoff time. And again, it'll be, be interesting to follow along with the Roberts kid too, who's, playing great golf. And these guys, I mean, the sky's the limit for all of them, really.
Yeah. I mean, we're in I live in a golfing community here in Glenn County, and see a lot of these kids out at the area golf courses and whatnot. And certainly they can play better than most of us. But let me say this, Shawn. I mean, that competition, some people might think, oh, that ain't golf. They just hit a couple little drives, a couple little chips, a couple little putts. That's true. But I actually saw this competition. Sea Island had it a couple of years ago at the local level. And it was just kind of funny. At number one, it was a ton of kids just at the local level. But some of these kids come with bags that are bigger than them. They have different competitions that they've competed in before that's, on those bags. So they won these bags at those tournaments. Now, there are little parents that are little overzealous. They're right there behind little Johnny and little Susie, watching their every move. And that's kind of like Little League Baseball. And I don't want to get into that. But it's a serious competition. And most of these kids, I mean, it can be fluky in that, you have a really good day and make it through a round, but that's probably why there's so many rounds. And it can be fluky in that you hit a couple of bad chips or a couple of bad putts, and it doesn't mean you're not a good golfer. You just didn't get it done right at that time. And but to speak for Trace, I think he started playing golf. I read his profile at age of 9. I think his grandfather actually kind of got him into the game a little bit. And I think he might live somewhere around Okefenokee Country Club, and that's where he plays his golf out of. And by the way, he is a 2.6 handicapper. His handicap index is 2.6. So that means on any given day, he's just a little bit over par and can shoot par right now as a 9th grader. So again, I'm pretty sure he's got the passion for it. And after going to Augusta like that, I'm sure that's going to be times 10. So it will be interesting to see what he does going forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of golfers, Kevin, lived their whole life, never even get step foot on that golf course. And not only has he got to step foot on, but he's got to play in this tournament or this, this drive chip putt thing. So, like I said, that's a memory that'll last a lifetime.
No question. And again, Probably met a lot of wonderful kids that participated, and their families. Got to probably shake more hands with professional golfers other than Dustin Johnson. I know some others were out there just supporting the kids and watching things. And I'm pretty sure, Shawn, they probably got tickets to a practice round, which probably was Monday after this competition on Sunday. So he'll get to go around A-Man's corner and our A-Man corner, and he'll get to see some of the other famous holes there. Might get to go into the clubhouse or the pro shop, which is a thrill in itself. And that's just a special, special place. And not only did he get to go there and see it as a young aspiring golfer, he actually got to hit a golf ball there. And that's definitely more than a lot of us are probably going to ever be able to say.
Exactly. Well, congratulations to Trace Carter. A great accomplishment, and we'll definitely be following along with his career going forward there. But, hey, we appreciate everybody watching On Air with 912 Sports. That's going to wrap up another show for us. Until next time, may all your check marks go in the win column. Good night, everybody.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.